Hey there, it's Mandee Montana. Are you taking great care of your skin? You know I use great products. I take my vitamins and I drink plenty of water, but I could be better about applying sunscreen daily and making sure my skin is protected against premature aging. What about you? Well, I've got great news. I have a solution. It's the new Premium Diamond Glow Treatment at Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler. I love it. I went recently and it exfoliates and hydrates your skin at the same time. Amazing, right? My skin feels so soft and silky after. You have to try it. If you've never had a facial before, they have different options at Hand and Stone, like hydrating and brightening. But if you're struggling with dark spots, hyperpigmentation, sun damage, sallow skin, enlarged pores, or maybe oily skin, this is the treatment for you. If you want your skin to glow and look and feel amazing, book the Diamond Glow. Schedule now by visiting Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in the Cumberland Shopping Center in Tyler or online at handandstonetyler.com. Welcome to the Celebrating Women podcast, hosted by Mandee Montana, a podcast that celebrates women, their stories, their struggles, and ability to overcome. Conversations that celebrate their gifts, their talents, and courage. It's the Celebrating Women podcast, presented by Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler, Texas. With over 20 massage therapists and 6 estheticians certified and trained in multiple protocols, you can get an affordable massage or facial located right here in the East Texas area. Book your appointment today. Stop by the spa in the Cumberland Shopping Center in Tyler or online at handandstonetyler.com. Welcome back to the Celebrating Women podcast. I'm Mandee Montana with my special guest today,
Chelsey Kursky.
I'm so glad to see you again.
It's nice to see you again.
Last time you were here, we did some skincare updates. We talked about tips headed into summer, like how to best take care of your skin, but also how beneficial it is to come to the spa and get a facial and do those sorts of things. But today I wanted to get to know you a little bit more. So you currently work at Hand and Stone, and you've been there how long?
Altogether, I've been with Hand and Stone for about a little over 6 years.
Wow, I thought it had been a little while. Because you've taken great care of my skin before. I need to get back in there. I was looking in the mirror earlier. I was like, oh, it's time. But what made you decide to follow this career path into skincare?
So I was a little bit of a college dropout.
Okay.
I was a theater major, had theater scholarships, and then kind of halfway through, I was like, what am I really going to do with all of this? But, when I was little, I was very guilty of getting in the kitchen and kind of Googling what I could mix together to put on my face.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So I suffered with acne, but also rosacea. And of course, at the time, I didn't know my face was so red, but my mother was like, oh, well, here's some sea breeze, just kind of
something to cool it off.
Wipe that on your face. And then would tell her, like, Mom, my skin is so red.
Yeah.
Well, sea breeze is an antiseptic. So that was kind of taking everything off of my skin.
A little too harsh.
So, of course, as a teenager, I was trying everything.
Sure.
I was really big into makeup. So I was trying to cover everything up. Basically, once I dropped out of college, did a little bit more research trying to figure out what exactly I still could do. Because one of the bigger things I liked in theater was the makeup.
Okay,
makeup,
I was going to ask you about that part.
All the behind the scenes stuff. But of course, skincare and makeup do go very much hand in hand. I found a school. I went to Steiner Institute of Aesthetics in Richardson, and I made the drive from Eustis, Texas to Richardson, Texas, and worked a part-time job for about a year. Finally got through that.
Yeah.
And then once I got out, there was a few things, school's great, but it really just kind of teaches you the basics, what to do, what not to do, but there's so much more to it. I went into lashing. Lash extensions. I did that for about a year, and I was like, this isn't for me, but it's something nice to have under my belt. I tried it. Shortly after that, I did get hired on at Hand and Stone, and I have learned so much more just being on the job, actually working and touching people's skin. But of course, I do all kinds of classes. I listen to podcasts. I read books. So now I specialize in skin conditions, skin sensitivity, so rosacea, eczema, psoriasis, all that fun stuff.
So what made you decide to specialize in those things? Is it because you dealt with it?
It really is. And it was because I did notice, and I think it's just kind of, the East Texas air a little bit. I had a lot of clients coming in with rosacea, or, the clients would come in and say, hey, I have sensitive skin. I'm kind of scared. I don't know like what works and what doesn't work. So I tried to get research a little bit more into that. And of course, experimenting on my own skin and other clients' skin, I'm kind of figured out what works. A big thing around here, and I don't even think it really is just around here, just in general, is there's so many products. That makes it really hard. Like, this worked for this person that has rosacea, but they may have oily skin and you have really dry skin, and that's just not going to work for you. So yeah, that's really, it's just a lot of people in East Texas do really have sensitive skin. There's a lot of rosacea, allergies, the pollen, and all of that.
Yeah.
It plays a huge role.
We've got so much natural beauty around here, but that natural beauty
Right.
with a little bit of sneezing, a little bit of frustration, those things that we're inhaling are also touching our skin, aren't they?
Exactly. And it does the same exact, when it gets into your lungs, it does cause a little bit of irritation. It does the same thing to your skin too as well. So that was one big thing that I do kind of harp on with my clients, is keeping a healthy skin barrier, for sure. A lot of rosacea can just be product induced.
Not knowing and using the wrong product?
It can be environmental. It can be genetic. It's really just kind of getting down to figuring out, once we get that skin barrier back up, how's your skin doing? For some people, the rosacea will pretty much go away. They'll have a flare up here and there because maybe got a too exfoliant happy, or went swimming and their skin hated the chlorine and they're upset. But yeah, there's just so many different aspects to it. But the thing is everything that I learned doing that is implemented in every area that I work in, whether it's acne, anti-aging, working on hyperpigmentation. Having that healthy skin barrier is the most important thing to ensure that your results are long-lasting and not so much just temporary.
So let's get into that a little bit. What exactly is a healthy skin barrier? Because I think when you were here before, you and I talked a little bit about it, but for somebody that may have missed that in the past, talk a little bit about what that looks like.
So your skin barrier is kind of a layer of fatty acids and oils. Essentially, it keeps the good stuff in, the bad stuff out. So it helps neutralize free radicals, bacteria, pollutants, but it also helps keep the water in the skin.
So important.
Yes. And a big key, when I'm looking at someone's skin, a big key point is, are you dehydrated? Do you have that feeling of where maybe your T-zone is super oily, but the rest of your skin feels really, really dry? There's something you can even do at home is just barely pinch your skin. If you can see all the little tiny lines in there, your skin barrier is not producing like it's supposed to. Your skin barrier also has a pH of its own. Cosmetic chemists know this, so they do make products where, when it does meet that pH, it gets to that happy spot where it's not irritating, but it's still effective. So if you don't have that skin barrier and then you put something like an active on the skin, it's going to burn, it's going to irritate, and it would do that with anybody's skin. I've had clients say like, oh, my skin barrier is built back up and now I can use all these products and it doesn't bother me at all. That's the best way to go about any kind of corrective actives or any kind of corrective skincare routine, is to ensure that that skin barrier is where it needs to be, because that's how you're going to get the long-lasting results without having to go back and fix something else.
So hydration is key, not just like the moisturizer that you're putting on your skin, but actually drinking water is what I'm hearing.
Essentially, yes. They tie in. I mean, you have to have that hydration. If you don't have that skin barrier, you can drink water, but it's just going to evaporate out of your skin, so your skin's not able to hold that.
So how do you create that strong skin barrier? What helps you build it up? What's a good daily routine?
Keeping it as simple as possible.
Okay.
So a very gentle cleanser. I'm not a big fan of actives and cleansers because it's a little too easy to overdo it or underdo it. So just getting a good basic gentle cleanser. Typically when I'm rebuilding my client's skincare routine, I ask them to not exfoliate for about 4 weeks. Just to kind of give their skin a little bit of a break, keeping it hydrated, keeping it moisturized, and keeping it soothed. So just very simple, hydrating, soothing products for the skin, and not doing too much, kind of leaving it at that. Wearing your sunscreen because UVs can also damage the skin barrier. Just really keeping it simple and soothing and hydrating the skin. Of course, drinking your water is a huge key in that, because topical products can only do so much. Your skin is the biggest organ in your body and it needs that hydration too.
I think of a desert when you describe that, and you said you can pinch your skin and you'll see the cracks. Like in my mind, what I'm seeing is a desert with cracks because it's so dry. And then when it rarely rains out there, then it becomes mud and it all kind of seeps back up together.
Exactly.
And
Even with some of my Asian clients, I'll tell them, you don't have fine lines, you have dehydration lines. Once you get that skin hydrated and that skin barrier built back up, those lines just kind of go away.
Oh, wow.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's so simple too, what you just described in order to fix that piece versus like going to get Botox.
It really is. And like I said, it's just so hard with social media and with all of the skincare to really know what fits your skin. So that's why getting a facial and getting a professional opinion is of utmost importance for sure.
Yeah. So coming in, if somebody was going to come in for a facial for the first time with you, I know you have a variety of types that you offer in various skincare treatments. What would you suggest somebody call in? And if they were going to call in and book or book online, what would they book first?
I always just recommend booking a classic facial. And then once you come in, we'll kind of sit and talk about your specific skin concerns.
Right.
Again, like I said, a lot of my clients come in a little stripped. So if you come in, you want to work on dark spots, we can definitely work up to that. We have to ensure that your skin barrier is where it needs to be to make sure that the corrective treatments are done safely, for one, and they're effective and they're more long-term. You're not just getting that temporary and without any kind of irritation and any damage to the skin.
Yeah. What do you love most about your work?
It's a good question. I will say I have the best clients in the world.
Yeah.
I have the sweetest clients in the world. I love working with every single one of my clients. When I moved to Dallas from Tyler, only for about a year and a half, I was literally bawling because I was like, I'm going to miss all of these people. Like, what am I going to do? And I was like, it's not going to be the same. Like, it's not the same kind of people there are here. So my clients are 100% my favorite part. And I really like, that gratification of my clients coming in like, oh my gosh, I did what you told me to do. My skin looks so good. I love like just making people feel beautiful, feel good, and just getting to know my clients. All of my clients have so many different stories and so many different personalities. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I can relate to that when I have guests in. That's my favorite part of the podcast is the conversation. And I feel like it's similar for you, right? Because when you're treating someone's skin, Mike and I have talked about this before. When I come in for a massage, I don't want somebody to talk to me.
Right.
I like to lay there and go to sleep. And it's harder for some therapists than others because some of them like to talk and some of them are good with not talking. It's pretty funny. And I love everybody and I can do both. But my preference is to not talk. But with a facial, we're talking because you're talking to me about my skin and how does this feel, or it should feel this way, or this is what I'm doing next. And you get to experience that too, don't you?
Absolutely. And it's so much fun too. I love, like you said, some of the things are just so simple. And, like with all of the information you have, things can get so overcomplicated. So I'll tell my clients, you're doing a great job. I can tell that you're trying to put in that effort. You're just doing a little bit too much. So let's cut it down. They're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, that's it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, really just give it a little bit of time and, it'll be back to where you need it to be.
So on that note, what would you say are some of the biggest myths or like false things that you see touted on social media by people who are just trying to sell us something?
Hey friends, it's Mandee. Have you ever wished for a protein drink that's light, refreshing, and crystal clear? Well, the wait is over. Zingular's Clear Protein Plus is finally here. With 20 grams of grass-fed whey protein isolate, 0 artificial sweeteners, and powerful digestive enzymes, this isn't your typical protein shake. It's clean, smooth, and easy on your stomach. Plus the flavors, blue raspberry and frosted lemonade. So good you won't even believe it's protein. I love how refreshing and hydrating it is, especially after a workout or a busy day. No fillers, no bloat, just clean, high-quality protein. Want to be one of the first to try it? Order now by clicking the link in show notes. Zing with Mandee. Subscribe and save to snag 10% off on this and all future subscription orders. Plus, use my code ZINGWITHMANDEE, all one word, to save $10 off your first order. It's all in the show notes. That's Zing with Mandee, XYNGWITHMANDEE. Zing with Mandee to save $10 off your first order. Click the link in show notes. Don't miss out on hitting those daily protein goals. The future of protein is clear.
Ooh, there's There's a lot. Okay, the first one that comes to mind, this is just because this is something that I was looking into recently. There's a big misconception about retinol that it thins your skin. It actually does the complete opposite because it's stimulating that collagen and elastin production. It's actually going to thicken your skin. So if you are someone with thinner skin, you're a little wary about getting on retinol, but you did want to work on anti-aging, go for it. It is going to thicken the skin. There's also hyaluronic acid. I'm not a hyaluronic acid hater, but there's so much more. I mean, it is a humectant. It's a good humectant. Our body does naturally produce it. But when you are getting a more hydrating product, you want there to be a blend. So not just hyaluronic acid, maybe a little bit of glycerin. There's a list. Also, that you don't have to have a 20-step skincare routine.
Oh, we don't?
No. It's fun.
Yes, it is. It is fun.
I will say I do have a 20-step, but that's, well, not 20-step, but about 50 products that I just kind of pick and choose from depending on what I need. But you really don't need that. You can keep it very simple. Like I said, just a cleanser, a sunscreen, and an exfoliant is a great place to start. Especially, if you're a little bit younger and you're just kind of wanting to get started in that skincare thing. Once you kind of start, seeing things come up, maybe, a little fine line, then we'll slowly kind of introduce a little bit of retinol. I think.
What about like the sheet masks that I see at Ulta? Are those helpful or are they a waste of money?
They're not entirely a waste of money. No, I will say that. So basically what a sheet mask is it's just serum in a little sheet mask. So they're not completely pointless. No, they're really nice.
They feel good.
They do. That's really more so your preference than anything. If you feel that it helps your skin, go ahead, go for it. Just be, of course, very wary of ingredients too.
What should we look for or avoid?
What should you avoid?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything in particular, but for example, if you do have a sheet mask that does say it's a hydrating and say they put a couple key ingredients, maybe like hyaluronic acid, cucumber, when you turn the ingredient list around, you go back and see where those ingredients are on the ingredient list.
Oh, yes.
The further down they are, the less there is of that specific ingredient. If you get a hyaluronic acid mask and you see that it is on, second to the last line, that's a waste. Just a quick Google search. You can see, what this is. Is it the hyaluronic acid on the ingredient list? If there is key ingredients in the products that it is stating on there, just make sure that it's at least within the first 3 lines of the ingredient list to make sure that it is really effective and worth your money.
Okay. That's really good information on any product, right? Like not even just the sheet masks, but anything that you're looking at. So I know that Hand and Stone has a couple of lines of products that you guys use in the spa. I think I've done facials with both. Is it Clarity and Dermalogica?
Yes.
I've done with both. I've bought both products. I like them. But if somebody was going to grab something like from the drugstore, what would be like an example of a gentle cleanser that you would say, oh, this one's pretty gentle. It's not like the Sea Breeze that's like astringent and going to, harm your skin.
My absolute favorite at the moment is the Prequel glycerin cleanser. It is 60% glycerin, which is more effective in hydration than hyaluronic acid is.
Okay.
That one is a very gentle, hydrating. It's dermatologist. She actually made that entire line. The products are great. Really, I mean, the only difference between drugstore and professional products is the actives are going to be a little bit lower on the list. But, everybody has a different price point. Everyone has a different skin budget. With professional products, they are more concentrated. So you don't have to use as much. They can last you a lot longer. And then you'll see the results a little bit faster, too.
I've had various budget constraints over the years and used a variety of products because of that. A lot of people do that. So sometimes I splurge and I get the professional products. And then other times I'm like, okay, what can I get at Target?
The things that you want to splurge on are going to be your serums, your exfoliants, your masks, your sunscreens. Moisturizers kind of depends on your skin type. Some people can get away with a drugstore one and it works just fine. If you do have more aging skin, you probably need something a little bit thicker or maybe something that has actives in it. Or if your skin your skin barrier is a little compromised, I would recommend getting a more professional product, especially because the skin barrier can repair itself. What that does is it just kind of trains it. So that professional product that you buy, you won't have to use it necessarily every day. It's just kind of an as needed thing. So you may use it for about 3 weeks. Your skin barrier's where it needs to be, and then you can kind of hold it off until, maybe your allergies get bad, you get a little sunburnt, or you get a little too exfoliant happy, or just use a product that your skin did not like, and now it's freaking out.
That's a really good tip. That's something that I've sort of done over the years, like you said, as needed. But that's a really good tip to kind of have a few different things that you can use.
Exactly. Yeah, really just your leave-on products. Even I really like to splurge on my masks too, because the professional masks are really, they're going to give you that almost instant result, depending on, what you're working on. Really your actives too, you do want those to be a little bit more concentrated, because when they are more concentrated, you don't have to use them as often. And then that, maybe you did pay $80 for that, but that's probably going to last you a good 6 months, rather than having to go to the drugstore every couple months to re-up on that.
I've certainly noticed the difference in that when I've been using my products. So talk to me a little bit more about what actives are, just because I'm pretty clueless when it comes to skincare. I mean, I know what a serum is, I know what a moisturizer is, I know what an exfoliant is, but when you're talking about actives, what do you mean specifically?
So your actives are going to be your corrective ingredients. So it can be exfoliants. It cannot be niacinamide, for example. That's one that's not an exfoliant, but it does help. It corrects pigmentation.
Okay.
It's also great to help kind of balance out your oil production if you do have a little bit oilier skin. It's also great to prevent breakouts. Vitamin C is another active. Vitamin C is more of an antioxidant. So it's not going to correct the dark spot that you have, but it is going to prevent it from getting any worse, and it's going to prevent any more from popping up. It just kind of protects your skin for the most part. So you do your kind of protective ingredients in the morning, and then your correctives at nighttime. Just because a lot of correctives, you don't want to be out in the sun with those, because they can cause the skin to be a little bit more sun sensitive. So those are at night. Correctives are at night. And then kind of your protective for your skin barrier repairing products are going to be more so during the day.
So if we were going to add on to those 3 products that you mentioned earlier, the gentle cleanser and the exfoliant and the moisturizer, is that right? Did I get those right?
Sunscreen.
A sunscreen, I'm sorry. I always forget, and it's so important.
A lot of moisturizers are sunscreens. Every sunscreen is a moisturizer too.
I didn't realize that.
If you have normal skin, a moisturizer or just a regular sunscreen is going to be plenty. But if you do have drier skin, you may need to layer a little bit.
Which would you do first then, the moisturizer or the sunscreen?
Moisturizer, your sunscreen is always going to be last. You want to apply your sunscreen about 20 minutes before going out.
Always a good reminder. You're probably a little younger than me, Chelsey, but when I was like a freshman or a sophomore in high school, there's this song by the film director Baz Luhrmann that came out. It's called the Sunscreen Song. It's this list of like life aspirations and things you should do. It just kind of is this reminder of like, pay attention to what's happening in front of you, enjoy life, explore things, but also listen to the people who are older than you. They give good advice. And then, and also at the end, it's like, and don't forget to wear your sunscreen. Like, it's kind of essential. I mean, I guess I have sunscreen in my makeup. I wear makeup nearly every day. So I'm a little bit protected, but I should still put sunscreen on underneath it.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What other great tips do you have? We're in kind of towards the end of April now. We're headed into summer. Is there anything specifically for summer that you would do differently aside from wearing sunscreen?
So once you kind of get into the summer, you do want to kind of pull back on your actives, if possible. I know some people, your dermatologist has told you to stay on, a retinol or a Retin-A. If they do ask of that, that's perfectly fine. You won't need to use them as often. Just making sure, again, that you're doing those 2 at nighttime. Another key thing is exfoliation only needs to be about twice a week.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask you that.
For most people, if you have normal skin or combination normal to dry skin, really once or twice a week is going to be plenty. Exfoliating too much can cause a little bit too high of skin cell turnover, so you're going to have a little bit more dead skin actually, and it's going to clog instead of unclogged. And it can also overstimulate your oil production. 1 to 2 times a week for most people seems to be that good kind of happy medium. If you do have oilier skin, you can get away with, maybe about every other day. Drinking your water is super, super, super essential too. For, the ladies out there that are anti-aging, drinking and eating collagen-rich supplement. Topical collagen does nothing.
Really?
Make sure you're ingesting it. Yes.
Topical collagen does nothing. I use a powder supplement that I mix in with my coffee in the morning. I know there's a variety of them out there, but topical collagen does nothing.
The molecules in it are too large for it to actually penetrate into your skin. But what you can use instead is peptides. So that is a good alternative. There are some people out there that their skin just does not react well to retinol. Peptides kind of do a little bit of the same thing, except for they're not stimulating that skin cell turnover, but they do help stimulate that collagen production too as well. Peptides can be used all over the body around the eyes, body. They're very gentle. And that's a really good preventative too. I recommend like any of my clients that are 23 to 25 to start kind of working on preventative aging. I usually introduce peptides. And then about by the age of 30, we'll slowly start incorporating into retinol.
That's good to know. I'm glad to know that ladies are getting started with this in their 20s.
Oh, yeah.
I started paying attention to it when I was in my late 20s. I was telling you off the mic that I've got a friend that she's an esthetician. We've been friends for many, many years. And I started asking her, I think I'd had maybe 1 or 2 facials. I was probably about 26, 27. And I was like, okay, I don't want to be in here when I'm 50 going, I got all this stuff to fix.
Right.
How do I start taking care of my skin now? And her biggest tip was sunscreen. She was like, drink water and wear your sunscreen. And I was like, are you kidding me? You're not going to tell me to come in here like all the time. She was like, well, I mean, if you can afford it and you want to come in once a week for a facial, then come on, girl. But most people can't afford that.
Right.
So she was like, when it's in your budget to come in and do a treatment, do one. But she was like, yeah, wear your sunscreen. That's the number one thing I can tell you. I was like, okay, all right, I'll start wearing my sunscreen.
It's so much easier to prevent than it is to correct.
Right.
And then also, you do have to realize at the end of the day, topical products can only do so much. That's another big key why I recommend going to see your esthetician so that they can give you those realistic expectations. Because I do have a lot of clients that are like, I don't personally want to get Botox. And, I'll tell them that's perfectly fine. We can definitely reduce some of those fine lines. But I also like to tell my clients, I'm going to help you age gracefully. I'm not going to rewind the clock, unfortunately. I would do that to myself. But
you don't need to, Chelsey. You've got gorgeous skin.
It's so much easier to prevent than it is to correct. And then, with those realistic expectations, is all of these things take time. One of the big ones that kind of comes to mind is hyperpigmentation, some dark spots, which can be from sun damage, age, environmental factors. We can't always completely take away that dark spot. We can make it a lot less noticeable. I mean, there are procedures that you can get done. There's some laser treatments and things like that they're kind of the same way. They'll probably take it away a little bit more, but like you said, not everyone can afford that.
Right.
So we're going to work on preventing, and we will correct as much as we can possibly correct. Everyone's skin has flaws. I have a little freckle on my nose, and I used to hate it all the time. I have so many clients come in with the same thing. And so that's made me like, oh, like, that's not that weird. Like, everybody has that. Just like, being kind to yourself, being kind to your skin. We all have a little dark spot. We all have a little fine line. We all have breakouts. Most of us have had acne.
Right.
I'm going to get you to where you want to be as much as I possibly can. But, we'll give you those realistic expectations because no one is perfect. We'll get you as close as possible. Right.
It's a lot of stuff at home in between, and then coming in regularly if you are looking to achieve a certain result.
Exactly. Like kind of on the pie chart, I get the facials are about 30% of what you're going to see. Your home care routine is 70%.
Yeah.
You can't, come in and get a facial. And I mean, even with these laser treatments and things like that, you can go in and get it and you like the results for about a week. If you're not continuing with that skincare at home and protecting your skin, keeping it hydrated, it's just going to go back. So it is an investment, but like I said, we can work with what you've got. We can work with your expectations. Yeah, just being kind to yourself and knowing that we all have, like I said, a little dark spot, a little fine line.
Speaking of that, how do you practice self-care outside of work? Like outside of skincare, what do you do for self-care?
That's a good question. I do like to get massage.
Yeah?
As much as I possibly can. I like to hang out at home with my dogs and my cat and just kind of snuggle, and my husband and I will play video games.
Nice.
So, we both love movies too. So we go to the movie theater, really just kind of spending time with my husband and my family and my dogs.
I was binge watching something on Netflix this weekend. That was my self-care. I don't do that very often, but I came across this new show on Netflix. I think it's been out for maybe a month or so. It's called The Residence, and it's a murder mystery set in the White House.
Ooh.
It's really fast-paced, witty, kind of bizarre. Anyway, it was really fun. And it was like once I started, I couldn't stop. So that consumed most of my weekend. So I can relate to that. One more question. Is there a treatment right now that you are just like obsessed with? And what is it? Like, what's your current like go-to?
My current go-to in the summer, since we're kind of getting to this, I would say a chemical peel because that's my favorite thing in the world.
I don't think I've ever done that.
Oh, we should.
Yeah?
They're amazing.
Okay, I'll have to book one.
But we don't really like to do those during the summer because you do
Okay.
need a little bit of downtime for that. For right now, mine's going to be the hyaluronic acid Diamond Glow. It's the HA5 with collagen. It's collagen peptides. So it's not just collagen. You are getting those peptides in there to help plump the skin. It's kind of like a fresh drink of water for the summer for your skin. It helps with those fine lines, helps with dehydration. It can even help with oiliness. And it's a good, kind of like a power wash for your pores. To do
That's a
good
great way to
deep
describe
clean.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it creates a pneumatic chamber to kind of scoop out all the gunk inside of the pore. You get a good deep clean, but it's one of those that kind of targets a little bit of everything. It's hydrating, great for anti-aging. That's what's going to kind of give you that glowy glass skin look too.
It's the one that, like, I love a good facial, but if I can splurge and do the Diamond Glow, I'm going to do it.
Oh, and then adding the new face to that.
Ooh.
Oh, that's my favorite. So the new face is a microcurrent, kind of like a little workout for your face muscles. It gives you a little bit of an instant lift, but it also infuses that hydrating serum in at the same time. That is probably that combination of services. We did, I call it the no-tox facial.
Oh.
That's my absolute favorite. I love
Okay.
it.
So if I called up and said, okay, girls, I want to do the no-tox facial with Chelsey, they'll know what I'm talking about?
No.
I need to book with Chelsea. Give me the Diamond Glow, and then I'll ask her for no-tox. Exactly. This has been so much fun. Thank you for making time with me. Is there anything else that you want to share or just talk about today?
No, just kind of emphasizing to be kind to yourself, be kind to your skin, keep it simple. And if you're unsure, 100% get a professional opinion with your skincare because there's so much out there. There's so many products, and we all know how confusing and how hard that can be. So to get find your good esthetician, find one that you kind of vibe with. It's like a hair, cosmetologist. You want someone that you can kind of vibe with too, so that they can put you on the right track.
Because they're not only going to treat your face that day, but they're going to consult with you.
Exactly.
How do we contact you at Hand and Stone? handandstonetyler.com?
handandstonetyler.com.
The website's got the phone number, all that good stuff.
We're located in the Cumberland Shopping Center, right next to Cava and across from Five Below.
Awesome. So we could drop in and book an appointment that way too.
Absolutely.
The Celebrating Women podcast wants to hear from you. Email us a voice message to celebratingwomenpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear your story or the story of an incredible woman you know. Become part of the conversation on social media. Facebook.com/celebratingwomenpodcast. On Instagram, search Celebrating Women Podcast. The Celebrating Women podcast has been presented by Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler, Texas. Book your appointment today. Stop by the spa in Cumberland Shopping Center or online at handandstonetyler.com. Support the show for as little as $3 per month at celebratingwomenpodcast.buzzsprout.com or visit our show notes. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to the Celebrating Women podcast.